Ma'am, are you here, ma'am? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Can we start, ma'am?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Technology is best when it brings people together. Yes, we are. A very good morning, one and all. And on behalf of PSG College of Pharmacy, I welcome you all for the final day of CPE program. And today's first session will be handled by Dr. S. Shantakumari ma'am. I have immense pleasure to introducing Dr. S. Shantakumari ma'am to the audience. Having completed her MBBS in Coimbatore Medical College and MD Pathology at Tharamani, Chennai, joined as a senior resident in the Department of Pathology, PSG IMSR in 2000, and is currently heading the Department of Pathology and MET. Madam actively takes part in UG and PG academic activities, including CPCS and clinical meetings, as well as guided projects for MPhil and PhD students. She is instrumental in setting up of the Immunohistochemistry Division of Surgical Pathology. She has completed ICMR NIH 10-week training program at Bangalore in 2007 on bioethics, and she is also a member of DCRB. She has about 20 research publications in peer-reviewed journals to her credit, and also shares her expertise as a resource person in various workshops and seminars. We are happy that you have given your consent to share your views on therapeutic communication methodology, which is going to be very useful to our student fraternity. Welcome you, ma'am, and the session is over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for that good introduction. I hope I'm audible to all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, fine. It would be nice if I could see at least few of the participant faces on the screen. Otherwise, it's dull to have an online session. Any participants, can you all be live on the screen? Because mine is going to be more interactive mode, so I would like the participants to be on video on mode wherever possible. Because I need some responses if I have to talk, otherwise it's really difficult. Basically, the title is therapeutic communication, so it would be nice if I could see some faces on the screen. No? I'm not seeing anyone. Okay, fine. I'll start with playing 2 videos and I'll be having questions for the audience to answer. So I'll start with playing my videos before I start my session.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I talked with Rihanna the other day, but I just wanted to touch base.
Can you all see my video? Is my video seen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Today, about your stuff, your situation. So I read your chart, and I know we talked last time. Are you still feeling depressed? Yeah, a depression. And I know you're feeling depressed now, but I felt depressed before, and it will pass. Like, you'll get over it. It's not that big a deal. And so this depression, why are you feeling depressed? Oh wait, sorry, I think there's something else I wanted to ask you before. No, why, or is that depression what brought you in here? Well, I OD'd earlier because I was yeah. Okay, so that overdose. So then why are you feeling depressed? Well, I was abused. I was gone. I mean, your life doesn't. I looked in your chart. Your life doesn't seem that bad. So this depression, I think you can get over it. Yeah. Let me look at my notes here. Oh, hey. Yeah. Can I talk to you later? I'm gonna finish. Okay. Sorry, let's continue on the notes here. You got the use, the overdose. So can you talk about these? Oh, that, like that area. Do you remember, are you still having those thoughts? No. No? Okay, then. Great. No thoughts. Because I know, I mean, if you're having them, it's kind of like, I don't understand it. It's really very weak of them to do, personally. But anywho's, oh, hold on a second. Hello? No, I'm at work right now. Yeah, you know Belmont. Yeah, I'm gonna talk with this patient here. Yeah, and I'll call you back. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Anywho, so let me look at my notes. But so you, those thoughts were saying, what were you saying about those? Did you have them? I forget. Well, no. No. Okay. Okay, that's great. I'm glad. So you're feeling better then? Yeah. So what do you think has worked in your therapy?
I like talking to the therapist.
One-on-one? Okay. Well, do you want me to see if your doctor's available? I can totally arrange that. Okay, I'm gonna go check that then, right? Okay.
I think we should explore a few solutions.
Grammarly suggestions catch when your tone might undermine.
Now, did you all see the video? Am I audible to you all now? Am I audible to the group?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I want some few responses from the audience. What did you all observe in the video? See, this is a communication workshop. I think we should be communicating to each other, right? I can only see Vanita, Shruti, Vinod, Lavanya, Malati. Anyone? Or from the College of Pharmacy itself, someone can respond to my questions so that I can go on to my session. Uma, are you there? What did you all observe in that video, what I played? Some communication skills, right? Kindly, any one of you all talk, please.
Actually, I saw the video and I can see two people conversing about something, some drug or counseling probably. It looks like counseling.
So, will you be happy? Oh, I don't know. Is it Uma responding to me?
Yeah. Myself. It's myself.
Uma, will you be happy if someone talks to you like that?
That's what I'm just waiting for. Is Lavanya in the line?
I'm not seeing anyone responding to me. I'm finding it difficult to take this.
Actually, till yesterday people were responding. Today, to my surprise, last day being the last day, everybody went to sleep or what?
I think half of them are not. They just switched on and they're not here, I guess.
Usually, more than 100 would be there, and at least 20 would respond. And today,
oh, absolutely no one is responding. Gayatri wanted to talk something. I don't know why she's.
Anyway, in the YouTube.
Ma'am, just now I joined. Ma'am, just now I joined.
Gayatri, can you actually? Okay, you didn't see the video then. Did you watch the video I played?
No, I think probably no.
Did anyone watch the video I played? Shivakumar, Prudence.
But I watched actually, but I don't know about others. Is it counseling?
Yeah, but are you happy with the way the person talked, the counselor talked to the patient?
No.
Because we are going to talk about therapeutic communication, though it doesn't, basically it is meant for therapy. but we can actually extrapolate to general life also. So I can see Prudence, whom I know that no one is opening their video.
Yeah.
Divya, can you come online on the video? Syed, Divya. It would be nice if I could see some faces. Otherwise, this communication skill, I will probably need therapy later. It would be nice if some people answer me.
Yeah.
No one is trying to answer.
Somebody, Krishna Gopinath is.
Can you come on the video mode? Who is talking if possible? I thought of playing 2 more videos, but if this is the response, I'm not going to play the video and talk. It's more easy then.
And actually, there is a counseling going on, but that counseling is not proper because the person is not asking in the right manner to the other person.
Okay. What was wrong in that? What exactly was wrong in that? Yes, Krishna. What do you feel? If I was
Actually, the other
the
person was not feeling comfortable.
patient was not feeling comfortable. Was the counselor okay in the way she communicated?
Yeah.
She was
No,
fine?
no, no.
No. So what was wrong in her way of talking? Please, you just put yourself in the patient's shoe or the
She
counselor.
was just doing her duty, but
She was not emotionally communicating to the patient. Is that so?
Looks
yeah,
like he says
I
things
felt so
in
like that.
a sarcastic way without giving much importance to the.
Yeah, they shouldn't give much importance to the person who is on the other side. I agree to that. Anything else? As it would be nice because I am doing communication skill and there is no communication happening. Now that is the paradox of this session then. I thought I'll play 1 more video, but as responses are less, I'm moving on to my talk. I think that's more easy if I can talk and complete. Basically, therapeutic communication is a one-on-one communication that provides physical and emotional care to the patient. Um, it is just not for the patient. Even in your life, I think we should be able to communicate to each other. That is very important as how we communicate between us when we have conflicts, between teachers and students. So wherever it is, there's some sort of communication going in. And in therapeutic communication, we concentrate on patients. I do understand that PharmD students go to the patients to check with the drugs and everything. So, and the dosages. So I think you do need a therapeutic communication skill when you enter the hospital services. So basically, now my one question is how much of our communication is verbal, how much of is non-verbal, which has an impact on the patient care? I do need answers, otherwise I'm finding it difficult. Even at least the organizers can answer, I'll be happy. What percentage do you think is basically important? Or what is the percentage of verbal versus non-verbal communication?
We feel actually 50-50% is essential.
Okay, I'll take that. But basically, in any communication, the words you use are only 20% or maximum 40%. The way you communicate has an impact 70% of the time. The tone of your voice, the body language. So 70%, near 70% of our communication is non-verbal. Therefore, every aspect of communication should be considered important. So, if you're talking to a student, if you're talking to a patient, you're just your tone, though you can tell you're lazy. No, that is plain. I think you're lazy to do this exercise. Basically conveys some other meaning to someone else who is listening. So I think the tone we use, the body language we use, the firmness of the voice, everything matters when we communicate. And in therapeutic communication, when the patient is already suffering, I think all of us need to be trained to talk to a patient. Now, how to use therapeutic communication? So the first and foremost one is we need to basically first read the patient's body language. Like in the video I played, in fact, the patient was not even interested to listen to the other person. And the other person was not trying to catch her attention also. So that was the basic flaw in that first clipping you all saw. So you need to read the body cues of the patient and also make sure you convey that you're interested in the patient more. Or in the opposite side, it need not be a patient, anyone else. It is more that side. And we are there to listen to them. And once you convey that, I think that is when trust starts there. Without trust, communications do not happen. So we need to read the body cues. Like if I have to diagnose cancer and then communicate to someone, first of all, the patient should be willing to discuss the case with me. Otherwise, I should be making sure that the patient is willing to listen. And then till then, it is my duty to make the patient comfortable, make sure that they are now in a position to take in the diagnosis I'm going to tell, etc. So therefore, read the body cues and the non-verbal cues of the patient. Similarly, your body cues to the patient matters. If you are not going to look into the eye of the person and not showing them you're not concentrating, it does not help. That is the very first one. That is why I said I would like the few videos on. So at least I get the communication from you all that, yes, you're listening to me. No, that's not happening. Now, we need to address the emotions first before you start in or generate it. That way, like in the video, that girl was not willing to listen and she was angry. So she's not going to take in anything. So we need to address the emotions of the patient first in therapeutic communication. Is the patient stable enough to listen? Is the patient's emotion settled? Is he angry or is he feeling lost or depressed? So emotional communication. To tell them, look here, I am empathetic over your emotions to listen to you. And I think that's the most important one when it comes to therapeutic communication. Make time. It is not easy. You can't have 10 patients queued up when you want to counsel someone. It can take hours, it can take just few minutes for someone. But then make the time specific for them. Spend time with them to make sure that they are listening and we are there to care for them. Otherwise, therapy is so. That is why basically if you're looking at it, there are more patients sometimes to non-medical professionals, right? What do you call them? Oh God, I don't get answers. So the doctor. Hello. I'm sorry, I got a call. But basically, I think we need to make time to the patient. If I'm not audible, someone will have to at least send me a message across. Am I audible?
Yeah, very much, very much. It's very clear.
Okay, fine. So we need to make time and then talk to the patient. That is very important. That time you give to the patient is important for them.
The slide is not moved
I am not moved. I am only.
Okay. No, I just wanted to.
I am just put make time and I'm talking on make time.
Okay.
How much time a doctor spends on the patient. That's why quacks survive in this country or any country's quackery is surviving because their communication skills are at the best. They are there for the patient to address their emotions. They might not know the subject to treat, but there is someone to tell, look here, your pain will be so much, I am there for you. And that is why quacks survive. So I think we need to know that as a medical fraternity or being in the healthcare industry as pharmacists, as nurses or anything, we need to make time for every patient we come across or patient attenders we come across for our therapy to be working. That is what is therapeutic communication talking about. So we need to encourage communication, not be a one-way talk, only the person who is giving the care to talk, but the patient themselves will have to talk or the patient's attenders will have to talk. So you need to encourage them to communicate so that you're basically listening to them and they can bring out all their emotional outbursts and then we can analyze how they are and what they are. So basically reading the body language, addressing the emotions, making time and encouraging communication are the first four vital ones. We need to listen. Now, hearing is different from listening. So what is hearing? What is listening? What is hearing? What is listening? So I don't have many PowerPoints there. I'm only going to put bullets, and then rest of it I thought we could have a two-way communication. Now, what is the word hear mean? What does the word listen mean? Anyone from the group? At least so many participants are
Ma'am,
there.
listening means when a person
65 participants are. Listen means yes.
Ma'am, listening means when a person is trying to say something, he or she makes time to listen. That is, he gives some space in order to intake that ideas.
Okay. Typically in lecture class,
Hearing means,
right?
yeah.
And if you go to a class and take a lecture, students feel it. Listen it, you will find it, right? That is the difference.
Right, ma'am.
When you hear, you are not entering anything into your brain. You're just hearing. You're hearing the noise. You're hearing the voice. You're hearing some sound. But you are not actively taking it to your heart or to your brain. Whereas when you listen, you are actually communicating to the patient by listening. When you listen, okay, this person is telling me something. This has an impact. So you are now able to reflect on whatever he is talking. Then you're listening. So listening is much more than hearing. Hearing is like you're as a student sitting in the lecture class, Sit there, Aram say, somebody talks and goes, I need not listen. I just hear something and come out happy without registering anything in my brain. That is hearing. Whereas active listening is you listen, you empathize, and you can reflect on what he or she is talking. Then that is active listening. Now practice silence when somebody is talking. Interfering and trying to deviate people should be avoided. Whatever they talk. Now when I tell practice silence, not for the session, please. I think you all should be communicating when I ask questions. Currently, all of you are practicing silence, so I don't know whether you people are taking whatever I'm talking. But practice silence when you're listening to someone who is suffering. So you have to listen to them, you need to observe them, their body cues, you address their emotions, keep listening and make your own reflections. Don't be judgmental on the person. He's reacting to this scenario so badly. No, don't be judgmental. I think we need to actually digest the fact this patient is going through so much of emotions, or the patient's family is going through so much of emotions, and therefore we need to do so much for their moral support. And for that, I think silence helps a lot when doctors tend to listen to whatever they tell. Sometimes it may not be the concern with the disease, but it can be something concerned something else. But still listening to them is very useful. Focus. Now, if they are deviating more, try to bring and you focus on what they are telling. Don't deviate in any form to what or what they are. Ask open-ended questions if they have thought blocks, or otherwise also if you want to actually know how much they have understood you, how much what they, now don't ask questions which are like where they cannot answer. Ask open-ended broader questions so they can come up and then discuss with you. Clarify with them that you're so and so suffering with this, or your wife is suffering through this, your husband is suffering through this, and therefore these are the things. Try to clarify your standpoints and also clarify the problems which you have not understood from the patient. You have any doubts till now? Provide a lead sometimes because they might have thought blocks, so you need to give them a lead for them to communicate. Summarize at the end, look here, I've been with you for 1.5 hours or half an hour and listen to you. This is what I'm feeling. This is what it is. Do you need to make some corrections here? And then once you summarize, you recognize, acknowledge and accept whatever is happening and then offer yourself. That's very important. I am there for you. That statement you make is what helps in basically the therapy working better. I think that is in a nutshell, therapeutic communication. I have only so many PowerPoints. I wanted a two-way communication, so unless you all ask me questions, it's not going to work. the rest of it is. So anyone wants to ask me questions in these 13 points I have made? No one has problem? Uma, what? How long is my session? Uma, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
How long is my session?
the session is actually from 10 to 11. 45 minutes is enough. 10 to 10:45.
The problem is I more or less done the part of therapeutic communication.
I'll show some videos. The other videos we would like to see because there are people who are watching here. We would like to see the videos.
I really don't understand whether they are listening or not because there's no message
No.
in the chat box. Neither do I have.
About 10 people are here in the same place. We are all watching. We would like to watch the videos actually.
I'll watch the video. Basically, that has two different scenarios. One which is non-therapeutical, the other one is just therapeutical. It is basically nursing college people who have prepared that and they use it for teaching. So I thought that would be useful for people like you. So I'll just play that video.
Okay.
And then I will go to the last few points.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Julie. I'm going to utilize a teaching strategy, role play, to demonstrate therapeutic and non-therapeutic communication. But first of all, what is therapeutic communication? It's a type of communication that we utilize with our patients to establish a good rapport with them. There's two main components involved in therapeutic communication. First of all, you have your interacting skills and you have listening skills. A few things I want to point out about the interacting skills that you may or may not see in the video. First of all, does the nurse convey interest? I want you to think about that throughout the two videos. Does she show interest in her patient? Does she demonstrate respect of her patient? Is she available for assistance and does she protect her patient? The second part, as I mentioned, to therapeutic communication is your listening skills. So some things I want you to monitor for in the videos would be nonverbal communication. Do you notice any positive or negative aspects of her nonverbal communication with her patient? Does she listen attentively or objectively to her patient? Does she interrupt? And the last thing, is she using eye contact with the patient? Is she using appropriate body language with the patient? So during the videos, I would like for you to think about those things and see if you can identify any of those components of therapeutic communication. Ms. Smith, did you call? Yeah, can you just give me a few minutes? I've got a couple of patients down the hall that are really whining today, and I'm just really busy right now, so it'll have to wait, but I'll be back in just a little bit, okay? I hope it doesn't get any worse. Yeah, me too. I'll be back. Ms. Smith, I have your pain medicine here. Hold on. Check your RNA before you take that. Okay, state your name and date of birth for me. Okay, all right, well, I'll come back in just a little bit and check on you, all right? Okay, go ahead and take that for me. Okay, I'll be back. Smith, did you call again? Yes. Yeah, but first of all, I need to find out what is your pain like now? Is it any better than it was? It's about a 3. A 3 now? Okay. All right. I haven't seen Dr. Smith today. Is there any way that you have seen Dr. Smith? Dr. Smith, something else. He hardly ever comes around to see his patient. How are you? I'll look about Dr. Jacobs, but I'll take a look at Dr. Smith when I'm out there. I doubt he's here though. Well, I really have some questions about the diagnosis. Kind of upset that no one's kind of talking about really what's going on. Okay, did you need to get up to the bedside? Like you're really rushed, so I'll just wait. No, let's get up and go. I have like 5 minutes. Okay, well, I'm kind of shaky because I just took that medicine. I'll stand right here. Now, what can you do? Because I don't want to pull my back out and stand up on your own. I don't want to pull on you. So can you do anything on your own? Okay. Wait. You're about to pull your IV out. You don't want to pull that out because I would have to stick you again. Okay, go ahead, get up now. It's okay. I'll just wait. You don't need to go? No, I'll just wait. Okay. All right, just call me if you need anything then. Okay.
Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say.
Hi, Miss Smith. Hi. My name's Julie. I'm your nurse today. Did you need something? Sure. What was your pain level at right now? I remember that 0 to 10 pain scale. What is your pain level at? Eight. Okay, yes, you do have something ordered, so let me step out and check the orders and grab your pain medicine. Let me do a quick pain assessment. We'll do the pain assessment. Okay, I'll be right back with your pain medicine. Okay. Did you need anything else while I'm out of the room? No, good, thanks. Okay, I'll be right back. And okay, Mrs. Smith, I have your pain medicine here. You said your pain's at a level 8, correct? Yes. Okay. Put this right here, and we're going to take out your name and date of birth. And can you say that for me? Yes, it's 3/11/78. All right, I'm going to take the medicine. That's Vicodin, so it may make you a little bit dizzy. Don't get up without my assistance. Push the call button immediately. Okay? Okay, I'll be back in about 20 minutes or so to check on you. Okay, thank you. Okay. Smith, call again? Yes. Is there anyone you can help me into the bedside? Sure thing. But first of all, what is your pain like now? Is it any better? It's about a 3. Down to a 3 now? Yeah, much better. Okay. Can you see Dr. Smith today? Dr. Smith? Not that I recall. I can call his office and see what time he's going to come around today. Do you have any questions? Yeah. Diagnosis and that. Questions that now I don't know my prognosis. I don't know how long I'm going to have to be here. And just have things at home that I need to take care of. Okay, those would be good questions for Dr. Smith. So let me see if I can contact him and let him know that I'd like to speak with him. In the meantime, would you still need to get up to the bedside? Yes, please. Okay. Real careful there. I need to sit on the edge of the bed for just a few seconds before you get up. Oh, hold on 1 second there. Your body's caught up on that side now. Get that to come out on you. So just be really careful when you get up. Oh, okay. So now that you've seen the two videos, I would just like for you to think about how you would have felt in the patient's shoes in the first video compared to the second video. I think you would agree with me that we would all prefer to have a nurse more like the one in the second video than the first. I always think about safety, and especially in that first video, the patient probably would have been less likely to call for the nurse when getting out of the bed the next.
Now, you both, all of you all saw the video, right? All of you all saw the video. Now, instead of them answering, I would like actually the participants to respond on the two different modalities you all saw. If those who don't want to actually answer can also put in the chat box some of your answers, I'll be happy. Communication is best when we talk to each other. Anyone? Yes, Krishna, are you there? What's the difference in both the scenarios displayed, the non-therapeutic versus therapeutic? What was the difference? What's the difference?
Why are the students not answering today?
No one is.
Actually, it's very clearly seen now. Very clearly seen the difference between the two in the video. I don't know why no one can put answer such a simple question.
Okay, Gayatri is therapeutic good and the patient is comfortable.
Yeah.
Can we extrapolate to our routine working scenarios, because none of you are going to patients probably are finding it difficult. Okay, I'll take it to students level. Now, how can you use this therapeutic communication to your students while teaching? Any responses?
Actually, our students do counseling, a lot of counseling. Is Femina listening? They do a lot of counseling, and they have to talk about the multiple drug regimen, if there is anything that is removed due to ADR, all that they usually talk to the patients. And apart from that, they don't go to the bedside because nurses do this, but our students just, they monitor only that.
No, but I know PharmD students actually in the West go for rounds with the clinicians to look at your drug dosage, the reactions, and deciding on, especially in the chemotherapy and the cancer regimen. Although we are not, okay, I'm just moving on because I think the faculty present or the participants are not comfortable when it comes to patient care. So I just wanted to know, how can you use this sort of communication to teaching process itself? Anyone can respond to that. It would be nice if you all see, I know it is the fag end of your sessions happening for the past 4 days, but it's nice if people can respond. Otherwise, it's like taking an undergraduate class.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Priya. Yes, tell me.
Good.
Ma'am, we've seen that like the physician is not ready to listen to the patient. She's not emotionally connected with the patient. And while patient was ready to get up from her couch, she didn't help her, and she didn't like make feel comfortable to get up from the couch. But in second scenario, the physician helped her to get up from the couch, and she said in second scenario the patient was feeling little upset because as we seen in first scenario, the physician was the other patient, she was not ready to listen what the patient is telling about the diagnosis and all. But in second scenario, like she stand up and she listened everything, and she also helped the patient to get up from her couch.
Okay, fine.
Like it seems that in scenario it's comfortable. In second scenario, the therapeutic, it's more comfortable for the patient to tell her what she's suffering and what is diagnosed and all. And even the patient will feel comfortable to share.
Yeah, agree, Priya. But now just moving a little away from therapeutic communication, I just wanted to know if you're dealing with the students in a classroom and you find one student disturbed while listening to your classes and he was not doing well in his studies. Now, how much of this communication can you use what you have learned now? How much can you actually use to take care of that student who's not doing well in his studies? You got
can ask, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
because when
We can ask them what are.
Yeah, I listen to you. Tell.
We can ask the students what are the problems they are facing in regarding studies, and we can tell them how to.
Yeah, come on. Let me listen to you. Yes.
We can help them out, ma'am, to come out of that boundaries and all, like what problems they are facing regarding studies.
Agree. Therapeutic communication is just not meant for patients. It can be used in day-to-day life. That's what I'm trying to tell. Therapeutic communication basically can be used in day-to-day life. In teaching scenario, we have plenty of opportunities to use this type of, like, once a student has a trust in you, he's going to come back, he or she is going to come back to you and then work well with you, and then once the trust is forming between the student and the teacher. The current generations are tech savvy and they are so aloof. For them to develop trust between human beings is the most difficult aspect. If you're looking at the current 19 years and 20 years of students who are coming in, they all have lived a life of aloofness when they're entering the college because their gadgets were their life. The society is shrunken for them. They don't have social networking happening other than networking happening through their gadgets. So they are disturbed in some sort of way when the sessions we take in the classrooms, etc., are not matching their expectations. So I think this sort of communication helps them. Once they develop the trust, they will also open up and then will know the importance of socializing in a college setup. Otherwise, students take to other means to relieve their stress, especially late night gadgets and next day morning classes and tests. I think that's another area where therapeutic communication can be used in a broader way. The other areas, of course, in our own families, we can see and we can use it. But basically, therapeutic communication talks about addressing and looking at the non-verbal mode and also training ourselves to use proper communication skills. Like if I have to go to a class and by the virtue of me standing, when I joined, they tell you look like a policewoman. That stiffness of me, I have to lose sometimes if I have to communicate to students. But if you're over cool, also students are going to walk over your head. So you know where to draw your lines. And these sort of communication skills will be useful. Especially with trouble students, I think therapeutic communication will make a huge impact. Any queries? No queries? No queries to anyone?
Ma'am, usually what happens is that they send to us and we will post it to your mail. Like that they have done before. Sometimes they send to us and we just post it to yours. Shortly I'll do that.
Come out again, I didn't get it.
No. Sometimes they post the queries to us. That has been happening for the past 2 days, and we'll put it in your, send it to your mail.
Okay, fine. I will address too. That is no issues. Yeah. I am trying to share something with you all.
Yeah, please.
Okay. The general myth of communication. I think this is something we should know. I love George Bernard Shaw for his words. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. We tell something and we don't even check whether they have listened to and taken it to heart and think communicate. Now, we have not checked with them whether they have understood what we are conveying in the right sense. And that is the major problem for communication errors. So the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place between people in life, or with students, or with patients, or in general with the society. Just like they're telling something and they hearing doesn't make sense. They need to listen, and that's very important. Now, to effectively communicate, we must also realize that we are all different in the way we perceive the world. The way I see the world, Uma is my good friend. The way I see the world is very different from way Uma sees through her eyes. And therefore, the way I perceive somebody's words will also be different with the way she perceives. And once you know these differences, I think we can understand each other and then probably use our communication skills to improvise on. So that is what it is. When you're shouting at a student, you should know the student looks at the world in a very different way. Similarly, a patient who is undergoing pain will be looking at the world in a very different way. They're not going to look through the world to the world in our own lenses. So we should always understand that the perception of people matters when we communicate. That is why body language and non-verbal communications become very important. That unless you have them perfect, so you need to train to have good body language. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So very good body language is absolutely essential. Otherwise, definitely it doesn't help them. So we need also to train ourselves as faculty or as in the physician or nurses or in the healthcare industry to practice communication skills whenever there is an opportunity to practice and keep building on it so that at one stage we have enough of practice to, it comes as a habit for us to how to communicate to a patient, how to communicate to a student, how to communicate to your old parents at home, etc. And therefore that helps. And always remember, communication must be honest, open, and two-way. Thought is not another way around. It should always be honest. We cannot tell the patient that his disease is this much and he will survive out of the disease when we will definitely lose out the patient on this condition. So that honesty is very important. We should be open to discussions. If they're going to criticize us, open for criticism. Be open to accept criticisms. Unless you accept criticisms, we will not grow. And it should be two-way always. Communication should always be two-way. A one-way communication is always a disaster. Then it's like an order. Okay, you do this. I don't think the current generation of students, neither the patients, are going to take it. And all of us need to train, just not for therapy, but even to improvise upon ourselves for a harmonious living. I think all of us need to practice communication skills. And I think with that 3 quotes, I end my talk. And thank you all. I can take any queries you all have. No queries from anyone? In which case, I think my session is done. Am I visible to you all?
Ma'am, is that, are the videos and your slides done?
Yes, I am done.
Okay, anyway, nice to see the videos, and no, I'll continue mine then. It's okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
If there are any queries asked, I'll forward it to your mail. And then it was nice hearing to, and especially say watching the videos, that's better than explanation. It gives a lot of explanation. I hope everybody watches the YouTube. I want all the participants to at least go just watch the YouTube, and you have to ask the queries to me. I'll give you the reply through Shanti ma'am. Okay? Okay, with that, at least that, only then the attendance will be taken and the certificates will be issued. That's that's all. So it's all one-to-one entire. So they have to do that. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much for the nice presentation. Bye. Thank you. I'll continue. So now, where are my slides? Just this one. No, just later. I want to talk to them first. So, dear participants, actually, now the morning session, Dr. Vimal Kumar was supposed to talk on conflict management, but sir is held up in an inspection, in an NABH inspection. So, what I decided is my talk was in the afternoon, so I'm just starting now. And in the afternoon, by 2 o'clock, if anybody is willing to present, to give any topic, this is an FD, this is a faculty development program as well as student development and CPE. So in that you will have it, we are giving you a chance. If you can, for half an hour from 2 to 2:30, you can give any ideas, suggestions, you're most welcome. You can prepare from now and you can be a part of the program. We'll give you the certificate for that as a resource person. So from 2 to 2:30, half an hour, you can engage your talk. Later, I'll do the validatory ceremony. And now, actually, I'm going for my talk. And being the last day, I'm just going to wind up the entire continuing pharmacy education program on effective presentation skills. And warm greetings from my side to all of you. And as the theme of the continuing pharmacy education program goes, it is effective presentation skills, which means that the effective, this is bonded to communication skills. So both should be there because these are so critical for any role you take up, because the power of presentations, they mark the difference between success and failure. So this platform, it enables us to plan, prepare, and execute. Why I said in the beginning, it said that it's so important for healthcare professionals is that, see, the healthcare professionals, you need to make research findings and how you present it to your team. That's more important. And after you present it also, the documentation process in regulatory field and patent, applying for patent, for everything, communication plays a role. And then again, for counseling the patients, collaboration with the healthcare team, ADR related information. So for mastering all these skills, you have to master all these skills apart from your clinical and life skills. So that's why these are so important. And going on to my, the agenda of my slide, the first slide, this is the agenda. All the great speakers, they were bad speakers actually at first. Ralph Waldo Emerson has said, see, from this is the just a visual agenda I'm giving. Actually, I had made 2, 3, I had videos, but I don't want to play videos because the previous session I could feel only I was answering. So I'm just going to present the topic with the slides. From this agenda, you can very well see that all great speakers, see, initially they have the fear, and that fear is, it has to be transformed into a positive energy. Only then you people can come out with a good talk and you can become a good presenter. I mean, so how to convert that and how you can be good on the stage without any fear, and you can present yourself. See, whatever you know, only if you come out, it's going to be useful. So having this as the aim and agenda of my talk, first of all, I'm starting this with a term called glossophobia. That means it's just speech anxiety. Okay. The Psychology Today article, it says that the thing we fear more than death is public speaking and presenting. It's just nerve-wracking. So this speech anxiety, this is actually both biologically as well as psychologically, it's influenced. It's a sort of phobia, a fear. And this is due to a fear of negative embarrassment or negative judgment or negative or judgment or embarrassment, or due to some evaluation of others. So others should not evaluate me. If they evaluate, what will happen? So these negative things, they finally end up like this, a sort of phobia. So now, to treat this phobia, actually you can treat by yourself. By continuously, you can refine your skills and you can manage your emotions so that your communication becomes more constructive. That can be done. And many people, actually great speakers, initially they used to fear so much, but finally they don't, because they don't show that nervousness, because they know to manage. They have started to handle this fear. So once you start to embrace the fear and turn this energy into a positive energy, it becomes a constructive communication. That's what I say. Because see, there is therapy also. If you're not able to manage, there is therapy. It's called as cognitive behavioral therapy or relaxation treatment, or it's also called as anxiety management. You know, in all these type of therapies, what they do is they are just identifying and restructuring your negative patterns of thought and behavior, and those negative patterns are changed into a positive one. Okay, so this distress and this depression, all these negative things are just, they are identifying that and restructured. So this is what is being done in CBT, that is cognitive behavioral therapy. So once you remove this fear, you're free to speak whatever you want. So I hope if you're going to really listen, by the end of this, your fear will be lost. I feel, if you're really going to listen to this. So initially, I have, as so many speakers have talked about verbal and therapeutic, how you have to be at each stage. Now, what I thought is from A to B, alphabetical order, what is important, what is not important. Just from A to B, I will just suggest so that you know how to manage that later. Now, going with the next slide is agenda. The agenda is the most important for anything. See now, first I made an agenda like this. It can be just visual also. It doesn't need to be only in words, textual. So this agenda, has it hit you like an arrow? It has to hit you like an arrow, and this should help orient the thoughts of the audience at the beginning itself. And because if this doesn't hit you, you'll be clueless. There'll not be any clues in you. What is this talk about? So initially, that should hit you. See, for example, if you take this agenda is hitting the audience, I said, and if you take the audience point of view, see, the first 30 seconds especially, you try to seize or grab their attention to you, the speakers. How can you do it? See, be it a presentation or an advertisement. That is also a way of presenting a product, selling a product. If you're taking an advertisement, for example, a great advertiser who said that he was asked to advertise on a fire extinguisher. If you're going to advertise on a fire extinguisher, he said, first open fire. So as soon as the fire is opened, you grab the attention of the audience. In the same manner, if we are going to advertise as pharmacists, you can see in the on TV, the antacids that are being advertised, Eno, and so many antacids are advertised. Initially, what you see is that esophageal and duodenal lining, it's burning. That burn is observed, and after this pill goes in, you can see that it's subsided and it's cool. The blue color cool scenario is shown. So initially, if you can show that and capture their attention, it will retain with you for a longer duration. That's what I'm saying. And then you need to always have some speech hooks. What do you mean by a speech hook? Means it's called as a presentation opening tactic. See, if you're going to fish with a fishing net hook, what do? You have to add a worm to the hook, and the fish, they get attracted to the worm. In the same manner, when you talk and when you have a speech hook, you need to add a worm, just like you need to add a message. It's not a worm, a message you're adding, so that the audience get hooked or attracted to your message. So these speech hooks are so important. Many, they try to start the conversation in a very weak manner using a lot of platitudes and pleasantries, which are so boring. You know, actually, the SARC Institute, they have taken a survey that the brain, it doesn't want anything to take up boring. It wants everything should be agile. Only then the brain gets agile. Otherwise, it doesn't want boring things. So the presentation hooks or the speech hooks are so important. Then imagine if I'm going to give a presentation on an investment. If I'm going to say, I'll just say two things to you now, 2 sentences. You think which one is better and which one is not better. So it's a way of presentation, I'm saying, how you should present. If I'm going to say, your house is worth less than what you paid for it. Can I advertise like this? Your house is worth less than what I paid for it. Or if I'm going to say, buying a home is the safest investment for the recent times. That's the safest. And if I'm going to proceed like that. So anybody who wants to buy would always prefer to choose the second one. So that's how you need to present. That's what I'm saying. And sometimes if the audience sit and they seem to be boring, if anything gets bored to them, or if you want to put across something, you can always ask some rhetorical questions like, which is the most popular email provider, or why is WhatsApp so important now? Why everybody likes WhatsApp when compared to other things? So something, at least 1 or 2 answers would come from the audience, and that would make them little agile. Okay, and sometimes you can also make some amazing facts to hook the audience attention. Like you can say, dolphin sleeps only with always sleeps with one eye open. So everybody will be thinking, oh, definitely. Dolphins are such, you know, they're smart mammals, marine mammals. They always don't close both the eyes. They open one eye and close only one eye, even during the night. So because they're always constantly on the lookout for predators, and if anything comes closer, any danger comes, immediately they move away. So, and even the researchers have checked whether the whole night, nocturnal, the entire day as well as the night, they are so agile, they are not completely sleeping up, but their way of behavior is such. So such facts you can put across to make the audience. And you know, and one. And one more information like this also can be said, like, see, Alfred Hitchcock, everybody says that, everybody knows that he always brings out terrifying movies with scary and lot of psycho movies, and all the audience gets scared of Alfred Hitchcock's movies. Nobody nobody watches those movies. But you know something, in an interview in 1963, he said that he is scared of eggs. Such a person who always terrifies the audience with completely psycho movies is scared of normal eggs. You know, anybody who's scared of eggs, you call them as ovophobe. He says that the yellow one in the egg is revolting and he has never tasted it. So such an information, if you can just give somewhere here and there, you can give it and make the communication effective. Also, that's what I'm trying to say. So rhetorical questions or anything which is a surprise, or and one more thing is, during to capture audience, never talk anything great about you or your company. And always when you don't talk, and when you're trying to be with the audience, with other people, you try to be an active listener so that you can communicate more effectively. And because half of communication is listening. So these are the points. And if you're going to advertise tooth like Sensodyne. Imagine first what do? You show the teeth that are sensitive, and then you give the drug like sodium, calcium, phosphosilicate is there, and this along with stannous chloride, it gives the desensitizing effect. We all know that, but when you give to the audience who do not know about this information, we just say that it is initially there was decay and initially there was sensitivity, and when this goes completely, they are free, they can eat the ice cream and etc. So this is how you put across things and make it interesting, either in a presentation or in an advertisement or in a communication, how to keep the audience agile and draw their attention towards you. It's more important. Now going to the B, the next one is B, that is body language. Now everybody has talked about body language and non-verbal communication also. Joy madam and many have told about body language. So of course it's written here. See, posture is the most important attribute. It's the most important. Drooping your neck, shoulders, back, just drooping everything, and then that's a very weak posture. And also hiding your hands and keeping them in your pockets. Okay, and they're all very meek gestures. So don't use these weak postures and meek gestures while presenting, because your hands should always explain and they should emphasize your facts. That's what. So emphasizing with hand gestures and eye contact is the most important for any presenter. So here body language plays the most important role. Okay, and next is the curiosity point of view. See, how to make them more curious. Now, usually people start when a presenter goes up, the audience, they start some mild criticism about the presenter, or presenter sometimes they may have some criticism about the audience. Just stop all this, because if you start judging, there's no end. Just stop judging, because this arena of criticism will turn the innovative talent into an atmosphere of self-doubt and contention. So never have the atmosphere of contention, because once it comes, the curiosity will go down. So stop judging others. Just the audience express your curiosity of facts, and you try to grab from the presenter. Even the presenter, you can also interact with them and take some points from them. So it should be vice versa. Because see, the two commodities are there, that is knowledge and technology. These two commodities should always help us to grow, never to demotivate. They should only make us grow. So by utilizing your knowledge and the technology that's available now, this advanced technology, just we can grow without any criticism. That's why I always say, wherever there is criticism, just stop that and convert that into a state of curiosity. That's very important. C. Now for D, the data support plays a major role. Data support, if I say there are three types of data that is very important, that is textual data, tabular data, and diagrammatic data. In that, usually when we are putting a lot of bar diagrams and all, sometimes it's so confusing for the data, for us to know what the data is predicting. But when you're going to show it as a table, it's very easy for both qualitative as well as quantitative information to present as a tabular data. That's better than the lot of bar diagrams and confusions. So diagrammatic also is better, and the data should always elevate your point's credibility and trustworthiness. Your point, whatever you want to specify, that credibility and the trustworthiness of your point, this data should enhance. So always a visual presentation is best. It has its value. Okay, so offer the data as a supportive evidence for the validity and authority of our presentation, sir. And apart from that, just as the word D goes, I'm just saying you have to have, see, even now I have a glass of water, you can have a sip now and there, because usually due to anxiety, there is dryness of mouth, adrenaline secretion, and there's dryness of mouth. So this can be alleviated just by drinking little sips of water. Don't keep gulping water, just take little sips of water, and then you should dress appropriately, because appropriately in the sense to feel good and to look good, you dress up. Never wear new branded clothes, brand new clothes that day, because sometimes we may feel uncomfortable. So dressing appropriately and also keeping ourselves fine in front of others is a good gesture. Then data support, of course, is the most important. And going for E is ego and emotions, the most important. See, Albert Einstein has said, ego and knowledge are negatively proportional. Just leave ego at the doors, because the more the knowledge, the lesser the ego, the lesser the knowledge, more the ego. And always you can see great speakers like Steve Jobs, who is the CEO of Apple. You would have heard a lot of presentations done by Steve Jobs, and also Jimmy Carter. He was a great presenter. He was a US president, 38th US president, and he was also a Nobel Prize winner. So all these people would have heard, they just don't have any ego at all. They're such great people who have no ego. So never have any ego, just leave it at the door, and you only try to expose your knowledge. It will be very helpful. And emotions are the most important. See, why you need to have emotions while doing a presentation. I cannot just let it casually talk. I need to have some connect with you, with the audience. If I want to have a connect with you, the first thing that plays a major role is emotion. I need to have a personal connect with the audience. Otherwise, I cannot accomplish this work. Okay. See, if I want to highlight some accomplishment, I really feel proud of what I have done. Something may be there. I can just say that with a smile. With a small smile, I can tell you. That's an emotion. And if I want to just talk about something I care for, anything which I care, in that, if that care comes, I have to change my emotion to a passionate way. I should be more passionate. So that's an emotion. And if I have to say something about a loss, a personal loss, anything I have tried so long and I was not able to achieve that, I can just say that in a soft voice. I cannot say it so loud. So this is all sort of emotions which are going to connect ourselves with the audience. So now what to leave? Ego to leave, and emotions, use them at times of need. That's what I said. It's not that totally you don't have to have, or you should totally have a lot of emotion. See, in certain places you need, like in fundraising activities, sometimes a child is not well, you need to collect some money for hospital expenses. In that case, you need to be emotionally connected, and you need to talk to them in such a way that the audience get moved over the speech. So that's a sort of emotion building. Then next is F is familiarizing with the venue and equipment. It's very important to familiarize. See, you have to pay a visit to the particular place before, because if any technical difficulties are there, it is not, you cannot do anything on that day, because never assume that someone will be available to save the day. There'll not be anybody sometimes. So the problems, if you're going to face the problems that jeopardize our presentation, that is that don't allow us to present, they may lead to a disaster. So you need to be the planning is very essential. You need to pay a visit and find out if there are any technical difficulties. Plan and check your microphone, laptop, screen, all the devices which you're going to use, because nowadays you just can't say as such. You need so many devices for your talk, because all these help to visualize yourself. And sometimes if you can see the venue before, you can visualize yourself that you're talking on that day, and which will create a lot of positive vibe in you. So every presenter deals with nerves before a big speech, every presenter, and we can alleviate is stopping. We can just put a full stop to that great deal of stress just by being so familiar with the equipment, venue, everything. If the familiarity increases, the ease of presentation will be more. That is what. Then F is over. Then going to the G, see, there are some goals to put the message across. I, the most important. I, that is inform. That in a presentation, if I want to inform something to the audience, to my colleagues, my research finding, I would like to inform. So that way should be different. That is, there should be a lot of confidence and credibility in that, because the findings of research, they account, finally they are going to the healthcare team and the patients. So it should, that information should be honest and very much credible. Then next, first is information type of presentation. Next is inspiring type of presentation is there. Inspiring type is sort of motivational speeches. These motivational speeches, they give a positive adrenaline. So automatically what happens is the other people who listens to us get inspired. So the person who says that should be emotionally connected to give such a speech. So that should be the goal of an inspiring speech. Then educating. If you want to educate, you need to have a workshop or a training session or some program like this. We can educate. And more than online sessions, it's very nice to educate in an offline session. And next is entertaining type of goal is there to put your message across. Entertaining in the sense, there are a lot of event managements. Nowadays, this has become, any marriage or any function in the house, we catch hold of a set of people who do this event management. And they take care of everything. So their prime aim is to entertain us. So that with that goal, they move across and they are doing a great job. And next is activating. Activators, you have to move and activate a crowd to raise a fund towards something. So that's that goal, activating goal plays a major role there. And the final one is persuading. Persuading, or you can also say convincing. In case of politics, you have to convince them to give them their vote. So that's a sort of convincing type of presentation you need to do there. So each place, whatever is the goal, the mode of presentation changes according to your goal. So the goal is the most important, that is the key. You cannot, for inspiring speech, you cannot do in a persuading way. For a persuading way, you cannot do in an entertaining way. It will not hold good. So the goal should be dealt with properly. Then approach should be so honest, especially dealing with the topics that are related to healthcare system. See, we are not dealing with machines. Once the machine is repaired, again, you can re-repair again. No, it's not like that. A patient, anything goes wrong with the patient, you cannot do anything about it later. So we have to be extra careful. And the approach should be so honest. And you need to be honest and transparent with the audience also when you tell about your research findings to our colleagues. And also, if you're not going to be honest, even if the audience is distracted, they will very easily find out that you're lying and you're exaggerating. So never try to lie and exaggerate, especially in our field, I say. If you know properly, exactly 100%, you say that, put it across, or you don't say anything, you find out properly and then you present. So just like that, go to a presentation and say what you like for healthcare system. That's not the principle. And if the audience try to sense that we are dishonest, our presentation as well as ourselves, both will lose the credibility, which is very bad. And the next time, nobody will listen to us. So honesty is the most important. So the more serving you are to them, the greater chance you have in nailing your presentation. That's what I'm trying to say, in approaching in an honest way. So H. Then goes icebreakers are the most important. See, if the audience get bored, you need to immediately start with an icebreaker. Okay, there are a lot of icebreaker games are there. Even in Zoom, there are a lot of games, icebreaker, Jeopardy, and then relaxing games, energizing games, and then for involving the audience, for creating the positive atmosphere. For all that, there are quiz. There are a lot of games as well as short quiz available, which will see that the audience are coming back to the, involving themselves in the presentation, and then you can continue. So they play a major role. The main objective is you can just make them participate in your presentation. Otherwise, there's no point in presenting. So you can have the icebreakers. These would break the ice and they spread the coolness to all the attendees through some funny questions. Which movie resembles your life? As I said. So like that, you can talk anything to them. You can ask them to say anything great about their kids. They'll be so happy to say. Let them share for 2-3 minutes. Again, you can continue back with the presentation. So icebreakers may make a major role in your presentation. Then next, going to the jargon, the most important. See, these jargons means they are the special words, J for jargon, special words that are used only by a particular profession. Imagine, now I'll tell you some police jargons. For example, 10 to 4 radio. Can anybody understand? See, ours is a healthcare crowd. Now, if I'm going to say 10 to 4 crowd, you will not understand. That means the police can understand. It's okay. And if I'll tell some more police jargons like berries and cherries. That means the police car lights, they come with lights, no? They're called berries and cherries. And then code 8, they say, that means when a real officer they need help, then they put it across this code number 8, when they need real emergency or help. And then wolf pack, they say, wolf pack. Wolf pack means if a group of petrol cars come, you can see in some movies also, when somebody goes in the front, about 100 cars go at the back in movies and all. So that's called as wolf pack. So these words we don't know. So if anybody from the police, if we call them for some meetings, and if they talk with jargons, they have to explain this clearly, we'll be confused. So the same manner, we have medical jargons. See, for example, comorbidity, I put up on the slide. Comorbidity means 2 or 3 conditions together. Some people will have diabetes, sure, and then hypertension, and then some thyroid problems. So everything put together, they're comorbid. If I'm going to use that on a normal crowd, they will not understand. Just like the genomics, iatrogenic, that is drug induced. So these things we know. And tachycardia, a faster heartbeat, bradycardia, a slower heartbeat, acute, anything which comes suddenly is called acute. So all these jargons are medical jargons. Like that, for each field, like military field, they have military jargons. So this jargon is not common, but if we are going to talk in our field, I mean, in our crowd, we can very well use the jargons, because definitely our people will know what is comorbidity, what is an adverse event. We don't have to explain them fully. But if the crowd is different, if you're going to talk somewhere else, you have to explain the jargons. So it's accordingly, you need to change. And then key is how you prepare the right content in the right format, right message to right people. See, just like in pharmacy, we have a slogan, no, that right dose, give to right people, right route of administration, and right concentration. We say that. Just like that, even when we present, the right content in a right format has to be presented to the right people as a right message. Only then it goes to the people. So you always keep in mind 3 points that the audience should take away from you. At least a minimum of 3 points when you say, they have to take it from you. And a 30-second elevator summary should be there. I mean, in the beginning, you grab the audience with the initial 30-second startup. And also in the end, you should seize their attention with final 30-second elevator summary. So the core of the message, again and again, you have to say why you are doing this, what they should gain out of you doing this. So that should be focused again and again. So all this accounts to the key. It's okay. And then going for L, you need L is a language tutor. I don't know how many of you know, but everywhere for all the languages, you have language tutor. And these language tutors, whether you go for job interviews or you link yourself over the phone, mobile, media, or you present somewhere, everywhere, what are necessary are the verbal skills that are constantly being checked. Okay, in this digital world, no matter in whichever field you are, you have to check out your verbal skills. So for presentation, another language also, you have a language tutor. If you're not good, you can use the language tutor. I'll explain to you in the further slides. This tutor is just for clarity, confidence, and precision. and you're getting a message out is about being understood and respected. See, if you're going to say something, if others are not understanding anything, no respect at all for that message. So you need to first give respect to your message, whatever you say. See, these are sort of advertisements that you can see in the online, and you can avail their facilities if you're really not good, and you pay something and they will help you out in everything. See, what are the language tutors in general you want? See, professional language tutors are there. For our profession, we have our professional people available who help us in oral presentations or when you communicate or for public speaking among the healthcare community. For all that, you have professional tutors, and you have writing tutors to write resumes, cover letters, anything. You have writing tutors, and then social skill tutors. See, some of us would like to travel abroad, and we are collaborating with people outside, and we'll not be able to hear them and immediately learn, understand what they are trying to tell us. So in that case, we have a lot of difficulty. So there are social skills tutors, and with whom we can ask them and just be. The social skills tutors would help us to work with foreigners. And then there are specialized tutors also for selling our product and also for selling our proposals. Okay, and experienced tutor is also there to teach us to probe into the unspoken needs of a client. That means if the client is not able to come out with something, how to bring it out, and then in a fashionable way, using your emotions, and you can also make him come out of it, for which experienced tutors are available. So like this, online tutors are available. We can very much use their facility. Then going to M is monotone voice. That is, if you're not going to have any changes or no expression, no high and low pitch, no fast and slow tempo in your speech, it's going to be a communication killer. I'm going to kill, that's all. Because your communication and your voice should have some ups and downs. It should not be monotone, a single tone from the beginning till the end without any emotions. For any emotion, you need to give a slight expression. So lack of confidence only will create a monotone voice. That's all. So if there's no pitch variation, the session is going to be very boring, and people are going to look into their mobiles and all that. You will be talking, they'll be looking into their mobiles. So the session is going to be very boring. So always you use variations in your pitch as well as in your tempo while speaking. And then talking about mnemonics, so see, mnemonics, they play a major role in healthcare, especially because we use a lot of mnemonics to explain to students during the class time. Just one example of mnemonics, I've just put it on in this. It is never let monkeys eat bananas. Take the first letter, never let monkeys eat bananas. Never, N is for neutrophils, L is for lymphocytes, M is for monocytes, E is for eosinophils, and B is for basophils. Why I have written like this is, it is a decreasing order. Okay, the neutrophils are at a higher concentration and basophils are the least concentration. So a decreasing order of concentration, if we want to just understand and learn, and so that it retains in our brain for a longer duration of time, you have to know the mnemonics. And it's very easy to remember, never let monkeys eat bananas. And from that, if you take the first letter, you can frame the words. So this is how. So these mnemonics also play a major role, especially when you present in the class or explain to your students. Now, what are the measures to overcome the monotone voice? I said, see, wherever you have important phrases, you stress them, and anything which is unimportant, just throw away. And if you have a comma or full stop anywhere, you just give a pause. And then you think about the words. Any meanings are there, just think about the words and you give emotions. So you can make the words alive. You cannot make them dead. If you want them to be alive, you have to give appropriate emotions. So this is how you can make your monotone voice to a normal. You can change that, and slowly you can remove the fear also. Now, the most important is nervousness. Okay, this nervousness is tapping, bouncing, shaking, darting eyes. Okay, of course, all this. Now we are only going to see how you're going to come out of this. So to come out of this, how to turn the nervous energy into enthusiasm. See, even great teachers and then celebrities, actresses, many people who have acted, they would have acted in hundreds of movies, but still when they just come on the stage, they get nervous. All suffer from this, because being nervous is not a weakness. It's just that you channelize, you turn it, this nervous energy wisely into enthusiasm. Okay, for that you need to follow some strategies. That's all. So these strategies would help. For example, practice slow, deep breathing just before talk. Very slowly you breathe, and very deep, it should be very deep breathing. Okay, what happens is when you deep breathe, the completely this oxygen that goes in, it goes into the brain. So brain gets a lot of oxygen, it starts thinking. And when you do take a slow breath, what happens is that your body gets calm. So if you see, two things are happening simultaneously, your body gets calm as well as your brain gets sufficient oxygen that is necessary for thinking and recalling your talk, what you want to talk and talk back. So all this happens when you do this just 5 minutes before. You don't have to do great exercises. You just do some small, slow, deep breathing, which is going to help you so much. And then recall and visualize enthusiastic audience. It's a very important point. You just think previous night when you're sleeping, think that when you talk, your audience is listening to you in such an enthusiastic way. Just think. So that will happen. So this is what even Abdul Kalam has told. Whatever you think, you dream, comes true. And you always have sips, take some small sips of water to keep your throat a little moist. And then you can massage your forehead, because your frontal lobe is the one which keeps the memory intact. Okay, you get nervous, what happens is the door gets shut. You're going to shut the door, and imagine you're keeping a lot of cash in a door, in a room, and you're going to close the door and keep the key, give the key to somebody else. How will you take the cash? In the same manner, you shut the door of memory and lock the frontal lobe, and you don't do anything, then you cannot talk, you will be totally blank. So you just give a small massage to your forehead, which will energize the speech center over there, and automatically, slowly it tries to retrieve the data one after the other, and you will start telling in a very cool manner. So all these points would definitely help to make you enthusiastic. Okay. Then next is oversharing. Oh, for oversharing, the conversation is not necessary. See, you be very cautious when you share the information. You don't have to share gossips or anything about your personal life, because it is going to cause future conflicts. So always be careful when you talk, not about anybody else or anything, and no gossips, only about what the goal of your presentation is. You always go around that presenter. And to avoid one-sided conversation, you can always try to ask questions, like how the previous session madam was asking. I would have asked, but as nobody has responded, I just thought, okay, let me continue and tell you this. So you always have to ask, and you try to say something. And the next one is practice. P for practice. Keep practice, practice, and practice. That is only going to make you perfect. Otherwise, you just think that, oh yeah, I can do. It's not possible. And then you prepare the presentation and you give it to your close friends, your co-workers who are so close to you, your family, and you just present it casually 2-3 times. It will give you confidence, because the point of view should be converted into their viewpoint. Your point of view should always slowly, it should shift to their viewpoint. That's more important. So you shift from forcing others, from seeing your point of view, to focus them on a bigger picture of viewpoint. Okay. And for quotations or quotes, they are actually second voice that is going to echo your thoughts. Very important. See, it's a better way of saying things. Many like quotes. You can see in many people preparing and sending quotes through their status. So it gives a sort of nice feeling also. So you can give a memorable phrase for an idea, and it's also going to, even if a quote, if you're going to put it across in somewhere in your writing, it gives an enrichment for your writing style also, and it adds credibility. So like this, see, if you think you're too small, you can just read this quote. If you think you're too small to be effective, you have never been in the dark with a mosquito. So usually when we take anti-malarial agents and all that, schizophrenic, schizoanticides and all that, anti-malarials, we tell them, see, even a small mosquito, what all it can do. So don't think that you're so small as a mosquito. See how much it can create. So if you think you're too small to be effective, you have never been in the dark with a mosquito. So that's what. So these are so effective quotes if you just think, and you can put it across wherever you like. And another one is there, if I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. That's the most wisest thing to do. First, you need to sharpen the axe so you can do the work in no time. So that's what it says. You can use that wherever you need to use. A bend in the road is not the end, unless you fail to make a turn. If you don't make a turn, it's the end for you. So never think it's the end. You try to make a turn and move further. So these are the quotes that are going to be very helpful for us. And now we are coming to R, that is what are the resources? These resources are the breaking barriers. They help us so much. And these are all, they're just like, our drug design software and all that, like Schrodinger and all that, which help us so much in all our drug design activities. For presentations, these are available like Toastmasters International, TED Talks, Ginger Public Speaking. You just go online and check how much they help people to come out of the fear and how much they help you to be such a good presenter. Once you're a good presenter, you can present everything well. Definitely you will be a successful person. That's what. So these are, you can also do a self-evaluation by through all these things. So these are all the resources that help you to break the barriers and come out to just maximize your potentials in presentation as well as in communication. Okay. Then S for storytelling. That's the most important. See, we tell a lot of stories to students, and especially this story, my students also know the story of Domac, how he had given a drug to the protocol to his own 6-year-old daughter who was suffering from streptococcus and infection, and she was just septicemia, and she was on the verge of death, and how he had given this drug and how he had tested, and finally how it was the prodrug concept has come. That was the advent of prodrug concept, and how it came into existence. All this, if we can say like a story. See, he had told, Domac has said that I spent World War II in a bomb damaged hospital lab pursuing new chemical relatives of sulfanilamide. Initial sulfanilamide, after that, so many other drugs were found that might be effective against. He was completely doing this work against TB, it seems, the whole World War II. But the story is not over. After that, he had actually that time streptomycin was not that useful for tuberculosis. So later, this man did a lot of work, and he was the one, along with his team of people, to find out isoniazid, which was a wonder drug that time. So these, if we can say to children or our healthcare team or our students, and even in the while presentation, some nice, interesting stories, it will be so nice to listen, and people will never forget about it. Okay, so this is a way of expressing your point. Now, going for templates and timeline, I'm giving just my sort of template. See, usually for telling about anything about chemistry, we usually take up such templates that models like or a drug design model, so that the background will be that. In this model, if you're going to present, we feel comfortable because it's somewhat connected with that template. So you cannot take a template which is totally unconnected, and you cannot present our message through that. So we always choose a template. There are a lot of templates available. It's all in the online. So you can take up whichever template you like and you can present it. In the same manner, timeline, template and timeline, both are important. See, timeline, if you want to present a project, or I'm going to DST for Imagine to talk about my project, I have to first give my timeline. That is, what is the preliminary data and how long is it going to take to come to the end? In the same manner, for any drug discovery, we need to give the timeline. How many years this is going to end? Before it was years and years, but now the number of years has shortened so much due to the advent of the advancements. So IT advancements, the bioinformatics, genomics, all that has just shortened the timeline. So this giving the timeline and template is the most important. Okay, then next is, it's not going. Okay, for you, uniform font. See, the uniformity in font, actually, it's not good while presenting. If everything is similar, you cannot see properly. And more than that, you cannot also use more than 3 fonts. So you see that a presentation is within 3 fonts. And the size of the heading, how much it should be. And then how much you need to, while you present, I mean, in a PPT, every font has a personality. So you have to make sure that your presentation fonts, they speak the overall goal. What is your goal and what is, the heading should not be in a smaller font. So, and like Times New Roman, Sans, and then this Arial, usually we use such fonts, which are more audience-friendly fonts. So you can check which is audience-friendly and you can use that font. So, of course, this almost everybody will be knowing, and we all would have done a lot of PPTs. And U, and then comes V, is the most important, is visual metaphor or visual aid. What all you need to give them, to show them, more than what you talk. See, now here I have given confusion to clarity. This is utter confusion. If I'm going to give like this, it will be very easy for you to understand. It's a pictorial representation. I'm giving a picture of an object or of an image. It's an effective way to present, because all our brains, they just respond more to visual images and visual languages more than anything else. So it's the best way to simplify a great idea. Big idea, you just make it, cut it into pieces, and you can also take boards or anything. Many visual aids are available. You can use that, and you can use visual metaphors. And see, on the top, I have a person is there with an idea, a bulb. So that you can think a person is standing with some good idea, for which you can put a metaphor like that. So it's just, you know, depicting, and you're enhancing the way you present with a lot of things. And W for weaseling, waffling should never be there. What do you mean by weaseling and waffling? Is going round about the bush. You're not coming to the point at all till the end. You're not talking anything important. So you're going to bore the audience. So what is important, you talk. Unimportant, just leave it. So that's what is. So who talks all this roundabout stuff? Usually in politics, they talk. Only in things like that, because they don't, if there's a scandal, imagine if somebody is asked about a scam or a scandal, they cannot put across things in a straight way. So they go about talk sensitive issues in roundabout way so that they don't hurt anybody. So in that case, without hurting somebody, if you want to talk in a roundabout way, you can do this weaseling and waffling. Otherwise, especially for our healthcare presentations, and it's more important never to beat around the bush, just be precise, on to the point. And X factor, hope everybody has an X factor. This is very important one. If you can really listen to this, this is also called as the wow factor, or the noteworthy unique talent. See, each one of us have our strengths. So how you think about the problems and put your ideas to action, and how you communicate, lead, and influence. No matter who you are, you have an innate aspect of X factor. That's called innate aspect of personality. Each one of us have an innate aspect of personality, you know, and you can also measure this X factor. That is how far we are reaching towards our success. That is a measure of X factor. So what is this X factor? It's an attribute in each one of us. Definitely all of us have some unique characters. Okay, that's called as the eminence in us. And this cannot let anyone point out their finger towards us. That's the eminence. I'll give you some examples. See, one example is Lata is not beautiful, but she has the X factor of intelligence that makes her extraordinary. So what is the X factor in Lata? It's her intelligence. In the same manner, Virat Kohli has the X factor to hit the balls that make India win. Okay, so that is the X factor. So, and another X factor, we can all say after all this, because such a big session is over, and we can all just say that I'm going to develop in me that X factor, presenting scientific overviews in a flawless, confident way. You can just think that that is an X factor. I'm going to do, and I'm working on it. If I find nobody, I would communicate with myself. So you can just develop that in you as an X factor. See, the biggest secret is how to mix two ideas. I tell you, you know the old principle of rubbing two sticks against together. You rub two sticks together. You know, that's called as wilderness survival technique. Wilderness survival technique. In olden days, they used to do, you just rub two sticks and you get fire. In the same manner, why I'm saying this, I'm connecting to something else. The theory is, if you want to mix your learning to what you do, so you need to mix these two, learning, reading, and acquiring knowledge, and it's a continuous process. So you mix the learning and what you're going to do after learning, mix these two, and definitely your X factor will play a role in that. Okay, so now learning, reading, and acquiring, all these things, they are a continuous process, and you're going to be the driver, and you're on the driver's seat. If you can do, you can think, you can very well do. And don't think that just I'm posting something over the Instagram or Facebook and I'm having 500 likes. No, that's not what you need to focus now. You just start focusing on the value and not the likes coming over the Instagram or in your Facebook. So the value plays a major role over here. So I hope you understood what the X factor means. Now, why? Last, but almost we're coming to the end, but it's not the least. It's very important. Yoga, it's not a religion. It's a way of living towards a healthy mind and a healthy body. Okay. Because, you know, our brain, it weighs less than 1.5 kgs, but it's just almost only 1 kg, but it's controlling our entire body. If you want to keep your brain smart, healthy, you need to do some yogasanas to increase your memory and concentration. Okay. So in that, these 5 play a major role. What I have given here, they play a major role. And among that, breath control, that's the key, you know, because, you know, all of us have studied ANS, autonomous nervous system. In that, it's made up of, it has 2 divisions, sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. So what is sympathetic nervous system? It's an active version that is going to activate. What is it activating? The fight and flight response. Okay, that is going to induce the fear and panic in you. That is, the sympathetic system is inducing the fear and panic in you, and it's the fight and flight response. But on the other hand, the parasympathetic system, it gives a calming mode. It allows you to rest and rejuvenate. So this pranayama, pranayama is a word in Sanskrit. It's nothing but just breathing exercise. Okay, it can flip the switch to activate the parasympathetic system so that your body becomes calm, and this controlled diaphragmatic breathing, it helps us to, it's such a powerful exercise, I tell you, and it's a hands-on practical way to be a fearless speaker. If you want to be so practical, really, it's a hands-on tool for everyone. And all these, especially these 5 exercises, they are going to boost up the endorphins as well as the serotonin levels. And these are responsible for increasing the anxiety. If these are, they will definitely alleviate the anxiety. All these mild exercises. So as I said, give importance to pranayama, which gives a positive stress to your voice box, and also give importance to mild exercises, not huge exercises before your talk. You can do it just 2-3 days before, but not before that. Just do something mild. It will be very helpful to calm. And the last, and this is also one more slide, that is always avoid a sedentary life. If you're going to sit, if your profession is sitting, don't always sit. Every 20 minutes, you need to get up and walk. And keep thinking, learning, judging your skills. And only then your brain gets activated. Regular physical activity will increase the production of cells in the hippocampus. You all know that is necessary for memory. So you regularly give physical activity and also keep thinking, which will produce a lot of cells in the hippocampus, and you'll become more and more brainy. So regular exercise decreases our general stress levels also. So for all these things, we need to do a small amount of yoga. Then I just, as a convener of this program, you know what is Zoom, and because of this only we are able to connect to each other. And this is a frictionless web conferencing communication platform. It's a leading video platform. And I have to first of all thank Zoom for giving me the zeal to attain the objective of imparting an understanding on the effective presentation and communication skills. And I thank all the participants, almost all the sessions, so many were there. I thank you for your cooperation. I know you're going to also check the YouTubes and see what we have spoken in our during our presentation time. And thank you very much. With this, this is the bibliography, and thank you. And I would like to just tell you one more thing. As another presentation, Dr. Vimal Kumar is busy in an inspection. I request anybody to just come out with a presentation in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, so that we can share anything if you want to share. First come, first served. You just come. And if you are ready, we are ready to hear. So it will be a special certificate will be given to you. So from 2 o'clock, I'll check. Otherwise, by 2, we will wind up the session with the validatory function. I would like to also just to give a small glimpse of all the, either me or Dr. Meda would be giving a small view on the glimpse of take-home messages given by each and every speaker. And with that, we are going to wind up the session. I am extremely thankful to all of you for just coordinating and cooperating with me. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom, to give a wonderful session about, give a brief and clear explanation about the effective presentation skill. So this alphabetic key points which you are mentioned for do's and don'ts during the presentation is very much useful task. Audience, have any questions? You put it in the chat box. Once again, thank you one and all. We'll meet you again by 2 o'clock.